Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to have a bit of a discussion about the newest characters that are going to be arriving in version 2.7. We've got Galbrena and, of course, Qiuyan. And this is the situation when it comes to these two characters. With the attributes and the weapon types that they have available, you know, some of the clues that we naturally have in-game, I think it's pretty clear by now that you can actually do a lot of pre-farming for these units. And by pre-farming, I mean, you know, going out, grinding some materials, grinding some echoes, so that you can actually, on their release day, build them potentially a lot faster. Because if you actually take a look at some of the specifics when it comes to these two, it could be a little bit difficult to farm. So without further ado, let's go ahead, let's get right on into it and talk about Galbrena first, because of course, she's going to be the first on-banner character arriving in version 2.7, so theoretically, you have the least amount of time to actually get her prepped. So the big thing about Galbrena that I think a lot of people might not see at first glance is the fact that there is a 3-cost echo on the Flaming Clawprint set that was recently added. And this bad boy is called the Corrosaurus. And so the passive effect of the Corrosaurus literally is gain 12% fusion damage bonus and a 20% echo skill damage bonus. There is no character in the game currently that has any use case at all with this echo in the main slot, because there's no fusion echo skill damage dealer. And, well, it's pretty clear from Galbrena's splash art. We'll take a look at her splash art real fast, just so that you guys can all get a bit of a refresher. It's kind of clear that she is probably going to be doing echo skill damage in combat, considering she summons a demon with her kit, and you can clearly see the demon-looking dude is featured down here as well. They sound like Kazakhs. Yeah, we all remember that from the trailers and the cutscenes in game. So Galbrena should, without a doubt, be dealing some type of echo skill damage with this summon. And, well, this is the only fusion echo skill damage echo in the game. And so there's a bit of a complication with the Corrosaurus, and this is why. There aren't that many spawns of this in the overworld every single day, and it's also a 3-cost echo, which means that it's naturally, right, it's not got that pity drop rate that a lot of other, you know, 4-cost echoes might necessarily have. So if you go ahead, you know, you click detect, you do all of that, you're going to find that there's not a lot of spawns for this bad boy in the overworld. And even with echo drop rate food, you're typically going to get a drop 1 out of maybe like 4 echoes. That's typically the pace that you're going to go. And when there's around 10 spawns of this monster across the world, we're not going to go ahead and individually kill all of them. A lot of people have said there's only like 10, maybe 11. That's around 1, 2 at max, 2 on average, maybe 3 echoes a day. That's not particularly that good, right? Even if you're farming it all every single day, it's going to be really annoying to go across the map, do all of that. However, there is a bit of a bonus. There is a bit of a bonus that you guys can actually do. And when you combine this with farming for Qiuyan, it's not going to be that bad. Because you can just go over to this Tassa field in the top right corner of Septim Monte. And, well, guys, you can just farm the Flaming Clawprint set. So we'll just go ahead and do a sample 2x over here for demonstration purposes. Because, well, I needed to farm these anyways. This is a part of my daily routine right now, is farming this set. You probably maybe want to use a different team for this one. This one requires quite a bit of setup. Anyways, now that we're done with that run, you're just going to go ahead and do a 2x Tassa field claim, or a 1x, depending on what you want to do, right? And lo and behold, we just got 2 Corrosauruses from that 10 drop. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can just spend your wave plates either on the Tassa field directly, or you could just go to the whole new, you know, the Illusions of Gateway stuff. You can just do that as well, right? And naturally, these ones aren't locked. I probably should manually lock every Corrosaurus I can find, right? Because the problem over here isn't necessarily the main stat. It's simply getting enough Corrosauruses to roll on when you're building your Galbrena in the first place, because there's just not that many spawns of it. And so you go ahead, you grab those, you do your 2x Tassa fields a day over here, or naturally, right, you can just pop on over, take a look at the Fantasies of Thousand Gateways mode, clear this, and you can also, and this is going to be pretty fun to do because I don't see any reason why not to do it, I could just use my unborn echoes over here. Let's use about 20 of them and see if we get any Corrosauruses. Boom! Alright, we got 2 more over here. Naturally, that's not that great of a drop rate, but it's still a way to just get Corrosauruses using A, some of the materials that you might have farmed up before, because God knows if you've been farming these, you haven't really been using them, because there hasn't been a new task field since version 2.4. So naturally, a lot of people might have this ready to go, and it's not going to interrupt with the farming that you're going to have for any of the other newly released characters, because they all use the 3-piece Sonata sets that you're going to have Nightmare Purification fields for. So yeah, the farming for Galbrena, despite the Corrosauruses being a little bit unwieldy in their spawns and naturally having that lower spawn rate, and you know, the chance that it's off attribute, or it's like the wrong main stat, not that big of a deal when there's actually this many ways to actually acquire them. And of course, right, you could just have a circumstance where your Corrosaurus never drops. That can only occur if you're farming on these Tacit fields without first unlocking a Corrosaurus in your databank. And so some players, if they haven't killed a Corus, or if they haven't gone for a Corrosaurus yet and gotten its drop, you can go ahead and actually see a question mark over here where the Corrosaurus is. If you click into that, you can just go into detect, and then it'll track the closest one to you. Then you can go collect the Echo, it'll be unlocked in your databank, and then you can sort of just go from there, right, and farm as per usual. So that's going to be the main thing when it comes to Galbrena. On the pre-farming side, the Corrosaurus definitely looks like it's going to be the most important component to building her. That also means, naturally, right, you're going to have another 2-piece Flaming Claw print to actually pair it with. And the nice part about Galbrena's main Echo probably being a 3-cost is that, A, when you're completing the Flaming Claw print 2-cost, you could just use A, the 4-cost Lioness of Glory, another 3-cost like the Carousel or all of this, or of course, right, just use a 1-cost as well. So when you're doing those Tacit fields, right, to farm the Corrosaurus, or when you're using those Unborn Echoes just to farm the Corrosaurus, you're naturally going to get all the ingredients required to complete the 2-piece set as well. So doing that Tacit field for Galbrena is, without a doubt, probably the best things that you can do to get ready for her release. And naturally, in the process of doing Tacit fields, you're going to get your hands on some tubes and tuners, right, that you can actually use to upgrade the Echoes, which, well, you won't get those from doing the other method of pre-farming. And that one's going to be the Nightmare Purification fields. So the main thing with Galbrena is that it's not necessarily super clear if she's going to be using a 3-piece set that already exists in the game, right? It's pretty clear for Qiuyan over here, who's an arrow sword character, right, that he's probably going to be using a set like Law of Harmony or maybe even Dream of the Lost, right? Because you can see over here, this passive effect literally is 12% arrow damage, 12% heavy attack damage, right? And, well, this guy's arrow. And, that Fenrico Echo has been in the game for 2 versions by the time he releases. And if it doesn't have a user by then, well, that doesn't really make very much sense considering how long it's been here. And so with that in mind, it's kind of obvious. It's like, okay, maybe Qiuyan can use Dream of Lost. Maybe he can use Law of Harmony. But there's not necessarily a clue, right, that Galbrena is going to use either of these two. She might. And the thing is, even if she does, or even if she doesn't, it's not a big deal to pre-farm for either of these sets. And that's because, guys, Nightmare Purification fields are actually just completely 100% free. You can just do these every single day, get all 36, all 36 mobs, and then farm a bunch of random Echoes from it. And with you going ahead and getting Galbrena's mats from the, well, let's just be honest here, the Tacit fields instead, for the Echoes and the tubes, then you're pretty much going to have all the ingredients you need to start farming for everybody that's going to be coming out. So of course, right, when you're farming the Nightmare Tacit Discords, there's a bit of a tip that you can use. So first, we just want to make sure, all right, I feel like one thing they also need to do is like make it clear which set is which. I'm not gonna lie, I actually get confused, especially between these two, because this is the green arrow Heron. This is actually the Law of Harmony one. This one over here is actually the Crown of Valor set. I don't think Galbrena or Qiuyan will use Crown of Valor. It's pretty clear that's just for Yuno and it's just for Augusta. So when you're going ahead, you're prepping for your Galbrena or your Qiuyan, you can just go right ahead and, well, pop into these fields. And there's pretty much only one tip that's available for these fields, and that is to just ensure that when you're about to begin farming a Nightmare Nest, you want to make sure that you have some Echo food. And you're going to notice over here, damn, I don't have any Echo food. This kind of sucks. So let's go make some echo food. So the way that I do it is I typically just go on over to Jinzhou, and then I go over to like Mahei's pharmacy. Maybe there's a faster way to do this, but this is like the only way that I've done it before. It's kind of annoying, but you do only have to do it once every like 5 days.
Stay behind me.
So let's just go over here. Ooh, wait, I need to test out the new flight utility feature. All right, well, it just got easier, boys. All right. So you got to go over to Mahei's grocery over here. This is the guy that bankrupted a bunch of noobs in 1.0 because they bought like 400 like things. You're going to want to buy all 5 of these premium gold incenses over here. Let me actually show you all what exactly I'm purchasing. You want these premium gold incenses. You want to buy them, 5 of them, basically like every single week. You'll see that it resets. We're recording this on a Sunday. Yeah, this resets basically every week. And so this is how you make the Echo Drop Rate food. You're going to need some of that, and then some other materials as well. To check what other materials you need, you can either skip ahead in the video, or just find out where the food is over here. We're looking to make some sweet and sour pork. So the only thing we're missing over here is we're going to need about 4 more sweet and sour sauce, and I think 20 flour. So let's just go back over to our boy. Go back over to the scam artist and pick up the rest of the goods. All right, where are we at over here? Sweet and sour sauce. Let me get... All right. And when it comes to flour, does this guy not sell flour? Oh, he does. Anyways, so you're going to notice over here, right? Oh, man. He kind of spent a lot of money on that shit. And that is true. I did spend a lot of money on that. And so I don't really care about my credits. If you're looking to save some cash, but, you know, willing to teleport a couple more times, you could just go on over to the Black Shores. Go over to the Coup Money Exchange instead. Just like fast travel over there. And it'll... All the same shit that I bought is like way fucking cheaper here. It's like way cheaper. The only problem with the Coup Money Exchange is that you can't get, like, the premium gold incense that you need just to make, like, the gold drop rate dishes in the first place, which is unfortunate. But you're gonna notice over here, right? I go in here, I check out the prices. Oh, wow, this is, yeah, that we were just paying 1,000 for these. And now, well, I'm just gonna buy these because they're cheaper. Now I'm only paying 300. Same with the sweet and sour sauce. This was 10K. You're going to notice there are lower quantities over here, but just something to keep in mind. You maybe want to buy out this guy as well. All right, so now that we're done with the ingredient acquisition, now we got to actually just go ahead and, you know, of course, right? We've got to make the goods. So let's go back. Let's cook all those up, and then naturally, right, get into the echo farming. Oh, I didn't know you could teleport right to the restaurant. I bet some people wish they had that ability in real life. Anyways, now I'm going to go over here, right? You can see I've been kind of building up a nice little store of the premium gold incense oil. Now I can just go ahead and make myself, well, 9 of these bad boys. And I'm going to be set. I'm going to be set for a good part of the patch. So yeah, 5 of those every single week. Make sure you don't forget them if you want to have the most efficiency possible in your nightmare nests. And it is what it is, right? So let's just go ahead. Let's go on over to the nightmare nest now that we've gotten our goods ready to go. And then just kind of get it all done. Unk's teaching how to cook. Hey, some people forgot, man. Cooking is, depending on how you enjoy content, cooking can be kind of useless. So here we go. Make sure you consume this, right? And I would say Nightmare Nest is like one of those times where it's actually like worth doing like a full rotation. I know most people don't like doing that in the overworld because stuff dies so fast, but I'm just gonna be real here. There's a lot of waves. Yeah, 36 enemies is quite a bit. Yeah, so don't be scared to do a full rotation in the overworld, boys. Oh my god. So yeah, you can see even after a full rotation, right, we still got a couple. We got, okay, they're all dead. So this might be more than the echoes that you typically see after you do a nightmare nest. That's because we just ate the food, right? We just ate the food that increased the base drop rate by 50%. Yeah. Oh shit, nope, don't do that, buddy. And then you can just run this on the Law of Harmony field run this on the Crown of Valor field if you need more pieces for your Augusta. You need more pieces for your Yuno. And of course, right, once we're done here and we've gotten all of that ready to go, we'll just go ahead and move on to the next set. And so the unfortunate part about all of this is that the food does last for 30 minutes. And it's not going to take you 30 minutes to do the rest of these nightmare purification fields. And so this is what you can do instead with that time if you really need to get maximum efficiency on your food uptime. I don't necessarily recommend this unless you know, are finding yourself not close to burning out at all, but you can just take a look at the other Echo sets that are there. You can look at Law of Harmony, Dream of Loss, Crown of Valor. You can actually farm some of their 3-in-1 costs in the overworld. For example, the Rage Against the Machine or the Rage Against the Statue, right? You can go farm this guy. The unfortunate part about this, though, is that these Echoes, they drop up to 3 different sets. And so farming these guys in the overworld is one of the most frustrating activities possible because A, you gotta just have them drop in the first place, which is a low drop rate. Then B, you gotta win the 1 out of 3 just for it to be on the right set. And then from there, you can think about like modification, right? But if it's just not on the right set, it's like, it's just done right there. And you have a 66% chance of all of the Echoes on here, the ones you can farm, being on the wrong set. So if that's what you're willing to do, go for it. I don't necessarily recommend that though, because that just sounds like a huge pain in the... Yeah, it's just, you already know it's like, it's a very low input to output. You put a lot of effort in and you'll get very little results. And that's why I just recommend, ladies and gentlemen, stick with farming the Tacet fields, stick with farming the Nightmare Purification fields, and get most of your Echoes that way. And if you got like some free time, you can spend the remaining food buff just going out and like, you know, messing around with shit like this, you know, farming the overworld for like Chop Chops or like, you know, Hermit Claws and the calcified Junrock and the okay, this thing just looks like a piece of gold. And then whatever the Rage Against the Statue is, you can just do that if you want. But I don't recommend it because you'll probably burn the hell out of the game and just be pissed off when your 7th consecutive drop in a row is useless because it's not on set. That's my take on the best ways to farm for version 2.7. And like we mentioned before, right, that whole Nightmare Purification field tip is really important because it's pretty clear that that's the set that this guy is going to use. And this is also my other sort of like prediction when it comes to his kit. There's a reason why the Fenrico Echo, which you will be farming for Qiuyan, right? There's a reason why the Fenrico Echo is also on the Dream of the Lost set. I imagine that Qiuyan, you can clearly see the Law of Harmony set is a little bit more like supportive. It gives like buffs to the team and stuff like that. Well, this is like one of the most selfish DPS sets I've ever seen. This gives me the idea that he can be played in like 2 separate ways. As like a main DPS that uses this set and then gains the personal stat boost, or as like a sub DPS or a support who like buffs the team. So that's what I think is actually going to happen. It'd be pretty neat if that was the case. Because, yeah, I mean, unless this set is here, just so that when you're farming for Qiuyan, you get a useless piece. Unless that's the mechanic that Kuro just decided to go with, making this set a 1 out of 2, and then the other one is just not usable. Unless they decided to do that, I'm going to assume that he has, like, multiple possible playstyles. Because otherwise, this is just rude. Like, this is just a dick move. Like, you can clearly see over here, this is a tremendously dick move. Hopefully they didn't do that, but yeah, I'm just crossing my fingers for that. Who knows what's gonna happen? It could be bad. But yeah, that'll be that for that one, ladies and gentlemen. We've got ahead. I think we've covered. You're gonna hear that sound a lot. Maybe I'll just pause the game. That's gonna cover all the different ways that I think that individuals can get a head start on their pre-farming for these 2 characters. Once again, right, the main focus is on those passive abilities and the fact that these attributes align with those passive abilities, and the artwork kind of does as well. And yeah, let me know what you all thought, if this was helpful, if this helped you get a bit of a head start, and peace out.